A little after 10, I'll call the meeting to order.
I'll move to approve minutes from the previous meeting.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. All ayes, motion carried. Minutes been approved. We have any additions to the agenda?
Yeah, I had a last minute wine or liquor license application come in. It's a new one, I guess. And then also, just this morning, I got from Tri-Leaf a proposal to take care of those concerns that the DNR had on the last report that we got, where Tri-Leaf recommended no further action, and the DNR wasn't quite ready to do that yet. So I have a proposal from Tri-Leaf to answer those questions for the DNR. So
I'll make a motion to amend the agenda to include the discussion of the Tri-Leaf proposal
and the liquor license.
and the liquor license.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. All ayes.
I'll move to accept the proposed, the amended agenda.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. All ayes. Agenda's been approved.
Getting back to that Tri-Leaf proposal, the report from the DNR had some concerns about a well that, according to Tri-Leaf, had kind of just disappeared, and so their proposal is to replace that, well and collect the sample and then prepare that report back for the DNR again for a total of $2,624.75.
Okay. The well disappeared is the one down by the river?
Well, I'm not exactly sure where it is. They just refer to it as monitoring well number, and I don't. But in our phone conversation with him, it was, I think he referred to it as one that was down by on that lower level. So.
I mean, we have no alternative but to do this.
Right.
I mean, we've gotten this far.
And everything, and I'm assuming that this additional work will be covered by that GAB Robbins, who's paid for everything else.
We don't need to take action, we just acknowledge receipt of it.
I think we probably should.
We better approve it.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve the action.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. All ayes, motion carried. You would think they'd have a map and some type of marker system that they wouldn't lose the wells.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not talking about out in the middle of a...
But he had said on 2 occasions that he can't find it. I mean, this is the second time.
But the water washes it.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's
You know, we've got maps somewhere here that show the location of those wells.
As well as them having.
Yeah.
We have two applications for, actually these are
You sign it.
wine permits. One is the Homestead Farmers Market on M54 south of Sac City. And this is a renewal. And the new one is Midnight Sun in Shaler. They had been doing business in the city limits, but now they've moved their business out in the country.
Do you need those separately? Or?
We probably should.
I'll make a motion we approve the wine permit for the Midnight Sun in Shaler.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. All ayes, motion carried.
I'll move to approve the permit for Homestead Farmers Market in Sack.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. All ayes. Permit has been approved.
Are those both native wine?
I believe so, yes. You want to sign this, Jack?
Where about?
Highlighted.
Below it or?
Just right above it.
I'll move to approve drainage claims.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. All ayes, motion carried.
I'll make a motion we approve claims.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. All ayes. Claims have been approved.
There's two other drainage claims here that kind of got the cart ahead of the horse. In DD 65 and DD 52, these repairs came in on Friday, and evidently the work's already been done because the claim for the work's attached to the proposal. So,
Just repair.
yeah, just approve those repairs and then the payment of the,
I'll move to approve the repair on Drainage District 65, Section 32 of Douglas Township. It was just a 5-foot hole over a piece of tile for the repair cost of $300.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. All ayes. Repairs are approved.
I'll make a motion we approve the repair in Delaware Township, a hole over a tile, cost $300.
I'll second that motion.
what district was that?
52, section 22.
Call for the question on this one, Jack.
Didn't you or second? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. All ayes. Repairs been approved. Oh, do I have to sign it?
Yeah, you gotta sign the claim.
We'll need to sign those claims too, Jack.
We have two applications for approval of construction through an established district, drainage district, submitted by Breda Telephone Company. This has already been approved by the Drainage Watchman. It's in DD 55. and DD 72. The watchman has indicated that the tile in the area, the location, the size, and the grade. And
He recommends approval of both.
he signed off on them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. There's 3 copies of each one, Jack, if you want. After they approve it, if you want to sign it.
I'll move for the approval for the construction across the drainage district. 72.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. All ayes. Motion carried.
I'll make a motion to approve the tile repair
It's a construction.
construction. What district versus?
The other one was on the front page under 55, right there.
No, District 55.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. All ayes. Approved.
We forgot to ask about public input. Citizen input.
Citizen input. We have any citizen input?
No citizen.
Has anyone approached you guys outside of the meeting?
We've, on several occasions, we've just been visiting with people. We're saying that we're having a hearing and that anyone's welcome. I've heard some folks are fine with it and some are concerned, so we'll just have to wait and see.
Is this hearing on?
We're considering reduction of our precinct sites from 9. We can do anything between 9 and 3, including 9 and 3. So
People I've talked to, they want to know what the savings would be to offset the inconvenience. And one is if they're doing it in if other counties are doing it. I wonder if they are.
They are. We had a meeting in Denison last Wednesday, and it was a re-precincting meeting through the Secretary of State's office. Most counties are doing some form of reduction.
We talked with Clay County, and they're talking about doing something. They haven't got any real proposal on, but they want to do something about it.
and you'd know more about this, Jim, than we, in counties of 10 to 12,000, what's kind of normal for a number of precincts? And I'm sure they're all over, but what are people indicating?
It kind of depends on the concentration of the population in that county. Shelby County, for example, has the majority of their population in Harlan, and so they have 4 wards in that town of Harlan, and so they're kind of limited on what they can do. Palo Alto County, for example, they bought a building in Emmitsburg and made a voting precinct, or a polling center, voting center where a lot of precincts have come together. And
Why would you buy a building for that purpose?
well, I'm sure they use it for other things as well, but that was one of the main reasons that they did that.
I know Calhoun County did some some contraction a few years ago. The Lytton folks go to Rockville
Right.
City now. What do they have for a number, do you know?
I can't answer that. I don't know.
I'm not sure either. But I think in that situation, they just moved the polling places. I think the precincts stayed the same. They just, because of the issues with
They took
handicap accessibility.
it out of town then? Because, I mean, they used to have a site in Lytton,
Yeah.
in Calvin County.
Yeah. But I don't think they changed, I don't think at that time they changed the precincts. I didn't think they just moved the
I see.
voting location.
But regardless, those people in Lincoln still have to go to Rockville City to vote.
They do now, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so, I mean,
Because they used to vote in the school.
Or the
Presbyterian
Presbyterian Church.
Church.
Yeah, just right
Yeah.
off the highway.
but getting back to what Jack said about Clay County, they're thinking about reducing some of their precincts. They have an earlier version of the equipment that we use in our elections, and the company is no longer supporting the software for that particular model.
That's what I'm afraid of.
And so they're right up against that very thing that we talked about a week ago.
That's,
Replacing their equipment.
it may not be the case that the equipment is failing, but they won't service the software to use it. And that's my concern.
Yeah. And when you look at the life expectancy of any computer, we're probably already on borrowed time. Not that they're used a lot, but the software thing is the big issue. Oh, this thing, along this, as part of this re-precincting and census issues that we have every 10 years, the law provides that wherever there's a city of 2,000 population or more, and the city and the county desire to share a precinct, that city and the county has to sign this, has to come to a memorandum of agreement to include those two entities as one precinct. And the only place that affects that county is here in Sac City, because Sac City is the only town over a population of 2,000. So this has already been approved by the city. And if we do change our precincts in any way, shape, or form, this will still have to be done, but
I mean, it would remain the same anyway.
yes,
Probably.
I make a motion we approve this memorandum of agreement with the city of Cyrus.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. All ayes. Motion carried.
Does Jack need to sign that, or you, Jim, as the auditor?
The chairman should probably.
Okay.
Does that memorandum have a title?
Memorandum of agreement.
Okay, that's all.
Yeah.
Ready for Ron, are we?
I talked to Cat Simpson the other day about that rebuild program.
Sounds too good to be true.
Well,
Half the cost and the same warranty.
but you're also still ending up with a 15-year-old machine or whatever. That's big for rebuilding G's. I'm not sure what I consider rebuilding G's. But with the way the prices are going up, and the other part of that is the emissions deal. You know,
So why not rebuild the old one?
Well, it's,
I mean, I think you ought to look
it's
at
a
it.
consideration, yeah, that's gonna make more sense, especially as this emission thing gets worse, we can rebuild the existing one, not have to meet the.
So, you know, they throw that $18,000 emissions add-on onto them, you know. So with that being said, Dean said he had read the article. So if you have a $200,000 new machine, they're charging $100. Is that what they're doing?
We didn't really talk that much about price. The salesman just said that, you know, in the past, you know, they weren't really pushing or even looking much at the rebuild program. But with the higher price, you know, and machines and emissions that are gonna come out even next, I think it's next.
There's something beyond Tier 4?
But the Tier 4 is just, I'm not sure. I guess I haven't checked.
Because like the tractor manufacturing things, they're just now building their first Tier 4s.
For some reason, I was thinking there was something beyond that too.
I'd be interested in mechanicals for my training, and I'd be interested to see what they're doing, and okay, a rebuild. How extensive is the rebuild? Yeah, I mean,
I don't know if they, you know, like they change all the gears in the transmission and all the bearings, or you know, or they just, you know, they of course have got records on which parts have a history of wear and all.
Sure.
I'm sure they check the tolerances when they, you know, tear it apart. Whether they replace all certain sections or what, yeah, I guess I'm not sure.
and they could vary. I mean, they could be just put a reman motor in, you know, which will run the length of the warranty, I'm sure.
Yeah, yeah. The standard warranty is the 1 year bumper to bumper and 3 years or 7,500 hours, I think it is, on the powertrain. So,
But you know, like the engine part of it, I wouldn't be afraid of
yeah.
that.
County crews placing aggregate on road shoulders along M35, M27, D15, laying gravel roads, spraying trees within right of way in Wall Lake and Cook Township, installing driveways in Levy, Wall Lake, and Eden Townships, scheduling riprap stabilization project in section 19 of Richland, Prairie and Tile, and Cedar, section 9. Project update. This project on M35 North Ottawa there, the road is open and the contractor still needs to complete his seeding. The bridge in Wheeler 2227 will replace the twin pipe. Contractor's got some riprap replaced and some concrete to pour on the slope collars. Patching, got the contract signed, but haven't heard from the contractor on when he plans to start patching.
They did, or somebody did some work on that N14.
Yeah.
It's much better. I was just crossing yesterday.
I called the DOT and then I found out that Mike had been through there and nobody from Cognizant was around, so Mike had our guys go out there and straighten it up.
It's much better, I can tell you that.
I told Mike we need to send a bill to either the DOT or the contractor every time we do that work, so. Because it's not really our responsibility, it's certainly theirs.
Those spots on N14 where they just put cold mix in, those are getting bad.
Yeah, I noticed that the other day I was up that road, especially the west lane seems to be worse than the east one. Yeah, hopefully this contractor gets in here, gets started fairly soon. Highway 20, 220th Street there by Burley, 71 is closed. but will possibly reopen when they get the rock surfacing on. There's apparently there's a power pole in their way that they've been trying to get the power company to move. So that might slow them down a little bit in getting that back open, but possibly it could be open within a week. Yankees still closed, Quincy's closed. At one time I thought they were going to close it and not reopen, but there is some talk that they might reopen it for a while. I think maybe that is as much for their access back to the project as it is for the local people. Otter Avenue is closed, but should be open possibly next week.
I got a phone call about Otter being closed, and they were concerned that both M50 and Otter are closed back to back.
Yeah.
But I can tell them that it will be open.
They were getting real close, and it was just, this rain's going to hold them up a little bit unless we don't get much more rain, but it should be open, within a week.
Okay.
He said they were getting pretty close on the dirt and they just need to get it rocked. So,
Okay.
they asked about that, and I guess my thoughts been is if we can get them closed now and done, and not get them closed in October, I just soon get them done. And
I agree.
Take care of
Because
it.
when you start pulling wagons and have to go 3-4 miles out of the way, that's...
I mean, it's looking like, most of the gravels, they got closed, and they haven't closed Lee yet because they do have Needham closed. But as soon as they get Needham back open, then Lee will get closed to rebuild. Although, if we're going to have, we've hired the contractor that's doing the tile work up there. There's 3 tile, the outlet in the east ditch on Lee, and DOT did not have it as part of their project to take them across the road. They were just going to replace the culvert that's there and let the water run through the culvert. Well, normally that comes back to Muncie at some point in time, so before they put like a 10-foot fill on that road, we're going to contract with the subcontractor that's doing the tile extension, and we're going to have him take that tile line, hook those 3 together on each side, and then take a 12-inch tile line across.
All right, see you later.
There is a shallow, it's not a very good tile on the west side, but we're going to tie it into the existing tile line and then put a intake in the road ditch to relieve the pressure.
Aren't you concerned about restriction?
We'll put that intake on the west side to relieve the pressure if the existing tile line downstream can't take it. But basically, it'll get the water from one.
Well, my concern is from the ag people that you don't restrict it.
No, I think there's a 5/6 and maybe it's a 5 and 2/6 that we're going to put it 12 inches. Faster place is going to be more than what's there. So.
All right. I just don't want them coming back later on and indicating
No, we
restricted it.
No, there should be a 12-inch line.
Okay.
A lot of times with the water running through the pipe, it causes the crossroad pipe to deteriorate and rust out sooner. And so if we can keep that water from running through there, it's usually the best thing to do. So before they put all that fill on there, I thought we'd take that crossroad, get it out of the way. It would be actually nice if the downstream landowner, the DOT, replaced part of that line coming from, I guess I'm not sure how far down there they were, but I think they came almost from that drainage ditch that goes there close to Early. They replaced a section of that line coming up, clear up to I think the fence line, because that was all within their right of way. But then it cuts across the corner of the next landowner's field. It's not real deep, it's not in real good shape, but the water now runs across the road, and what can runs into the intake, and the rest of it runs across on the top of the ground, so it's going to actually help him, I think, by getting more of it underground and trying to run across the surface too. Paving contractors still haven't seen anything as far as paving plant. I know they've got quite a bit of road up there trimmed now, but I haven't seen any anything, as far as the paving equipment. Item 4 there on Quincy. This is Quincy here, this is the Highway 20 coming through. And the other day when I got the permit from Frontier to replace this telephone line across there, I noticed they were going, 500 or 600 feet north before they tied back in. When I looked at the DOT drawings a little closer, I see that this to be obliterated for about 500 or 600 feet north, and then on the south side is just a little bit south of where the right of way is at. I guess I want to talk to Frontier because they were going to rebore that line in there and put a pad at the end of there. Well, if we have a road vacation hearing and say we're going to vacate the road and crew back up to some point up in here, you don't want a pad sitting in the middle of the field. So we probably need to go ahead and I need to get the paperwork done to bring a resolution to the board to set a time and date.
What do we have for access consideration? I mean, who's...
Well, we got one landowner here and landowner here, and the state bought all this property here, but I'm thinking that we would probably vacate or try to vacate at this point.
From here to here, or from
here to here, because this will have to stay open for access. It has to stay open at least to this point for his access, and I would guess the DOT will try to sell this piece here when they're done.
Where's the borrow pit?
A lot of dirt,
They're cutting a hill.
they're hauling from.
So there's not one
Close,
close.
it's a hill cut.
Yeah.
I don't know if
Good to
there's
see, Rick, and the nearest borrow pit's there.
Yeah, and I just see the white, they took all that Nunez
Yeah.
property, and
Yeah.
that's that big vertical one there, and so I wondered if there's...
I think they're just taking the hills.
they're hauling a lot of dirt from back here south of Northern Just. They're hauling back there. But
They don't want
anyway,
that done. It's been a great-
We were out on the bridge here last week, it's a week, 2 weeks ago.
because I happened to see a couple scrapers and one of those cat tractors, and a big haul truck today, and apparently one is getting the point where it's falling apart and slipping out, and getting some sections done. But anyway, when you look at that map, you'll notice that this corner here was not part of their original buy. But I assume that landowner said, well, I don't want to end up with that little chunk of 3/4 piece. So they negotiated to buy the whole thing. So my guess is when they're done, they'll sell that. And so, of course, if you don't leave access up to here, nobody would want to buy that except for these two people. And that's, if they ended up buying it, we'd still want to be able to vacate it down to here, so it's not a whole lot of difference. It's probably a little more confusing on this north side here. I'm not sure how they get access to this Sanders parcel where my understanding, this railroad's still owned by the conservation. And I'm not sure whether they've got some kind of agreement to get access back across the railroad track or that Sanders property. I guess I don't. And I haven't talked to anybody, so I guess I really don't know. Eventually, the way this whole corner up here is, it would probably be nice to regrade that whole corner, especially since there's not going to be really any traffic going south, except for the access to those acres. There's sort of a gully in here, and the old railroad track, and it's sort of doesn't really need this job to do. But I'd like to vacate this up as far up here as we can, to whatever point Sandy gets access back in here. Whether the DOT they want to maintain access, at least for the construction equipment, during the rest of the grading and paving operation. I don't know.
Well, I'm sure they will, no. Why wouldn't they?
Well, we got into the deal over at Calvin County like that, where they sort of the same deal with the curve, and they actually were building a bridge right there on the railroad track. And when we held the road vacation, they said, oh yeah, November 1st next year, that's plenty of time. So we vacated it based on that date, and then the bridge wasn't built yet. And the bridge contractor says, well, how am I gonna get down there to build my bridge? So he had to negotiate with the landowners to leave it. Because as soon as they were done using it, we obliterated it so they could farm it. So I need to get some input from the DOT on what they want to do as far as time frame on vacating that. I want to talk to Frontier about that telephone line holding up. I think Frontier is holding up the contractor as far as taking the grade completely out there through Quincy. So that Frontier might have to bore at least underneath the new alignments and pull that cable in just to, so the contractor can keep working without cutting the cable. Anyway, I'll try to get more information and try to maybe get a date set to have a hearing on that. Sounds good. And I guess that's all I got.
I gave you guys a notice of public hearing. Did you look at that? And then
Yeah, I think it's on the desk in there. What, I don't recall the date that you had chosen.
Well, September 6th.
Yeah, isn't that what we had?
Yeah,
talked
but I
about
want
last
you to
week?
look at the language and see that
Oh,
if I put enough or too much or,
it was relatively simple, and
yeah.
I think it's fine, but I'll look at it again.
Okay, all right, I need to get those to the paper.
I mean, it was fairly direct.
Yep. And the other one is going to be at the regular board meeting. That ordinance.
If I start working on this road vacation, I might check you as far as what dates might be available to have it here.
Okay.
Thanks, Ron.
Thank you, Ron. Thanks for coming early.
Well, Calvin canceled their board meeting today for some reason, I'm not sure why.
We're supposed to be open now.
Yes.
Oh, gee.
I know the phone system in the courthouse is down.
Well, it's back now. It's telling me, yeah, it's reading right
I
anyway.
was trying to call the sheriff's office on my way over, and raining.
It was just, everything looked like it was full or something.
Why wasn't it going through?
It looks like it's right now.
Jail right there, all busy.
I couldn't imagine that nobody was down there. But then, you know, with cell phones, half the time you don't know where the cell phone is actually going through too, you know? And I've had that happen before too. You think it's calling, but it's not getting out. Rings, and then it says call failed.
I'd like to know where those messages go, that you leave a message and you don't get it, or the person doesn't get it until maybe a day later.
Yeah.
What happens to
From
it?
time to time,
Where's
it's
it
a day and
say?
a half.
Yeah, before you get the message.
And then the next time it'll buzz right there.
Yeah.
I can't say I've had much problem with that, but I've talked to other people that, yeah, it'll
It's strange, I wonder where it's at.
be a day or two before it shows up.
Yeah,
But,
I've had that happen a couple times.
So what?
How did this happen?
Didn't they do an EMS test with texting as an alternative to see how reliable it was, and came up? I don't know. There was some significant amount of inaccuracy for being able to get messages out quick enough.
Oh, really? I personally have had a number of times where it'd be a day and a half before, well, didn't you get my message? No. And then,
Is that a voice? thing, or?
Voice.
See, it seems like that'll happen with voice, but with text, it seems to get through right away.
Does it?
Yeah.
I don't have texting, but the voice is where I've had the problem.
I've had voice.
Yep, I do too.
Can you get a phone without texting?
Yeah, you still can. You can turn that off.
Oh, turn it off, okay.
Yeah, it's called.
They're all
blocking.
capable of doing it, but.
Yeah, okay, okay.
But you don't have to pay for it or have that service.
I think mine, I get incoming text free, but if I want to make one, I gotta pay for it. It's not on our plan. We are, I was just thinking about, we talked about EMTs, the narrow banding deal, we probably will set up to narrow band our radios probably sometime in September or October before we get to the winter season.
Time's running out, isn't it? Don't you have to have that done?
No, it's January 2013.
Oh, is that? I was thinking it was in 12.
They start trying to get it discussed, so people can start discussing the fire department, so we can get money in the budget to do something.
Change radio. We already did our radio changing, correct?
We bought a bunch of new radios. I'm not sure whether we've got all that we need. We're thinking the rest of them that we have are reprogrammable, so we don't think we're going to see a whole lot of other equipment we need to buy, but they all need to be, all the new ones, of course, are programmed narrow band, so all we need to do with them is stick them in a piece of equipment, but the ones that are existing radio will have to be reprogrammed. Try to get, probably work through Alpha Wireless and John. Get those done. We'll just pick a date sometime, get it done. Because yeah, next year I think there's going to be less people that are going to be switching radios. It's going to be a nightmare trying to get them scheduled.
Okay, thanks, Ron. We need to discuss this fire alarm system they were talking about too. Jim has.
Ed Feld Company called yesterday, wanted to know if we'd made any decisions or had any further discussion on that. I contacted another company from Fort Dodge, and they came and looked, and I showed them the same floor plan and everything. And they never got back to me, so I don't know.
Need to put that on the agenda
Okay.
for discussion.
Okay.
Well, I think they were going too elaborate when they did the layout with everything. I think we can get by with something out here.
Maybe in contact, they could come next week and talk about downside.
Okay.
What do you think?
I thought it was very extensive. I mean, it's kind of it's a tough one. Where do you start and where do you stop? And,
Yeah.
I mean, we're as far as I guess I think our priority ought to be protection of people first, and then documents after that.
There's a lot of stuff in here that's irreplaceable. That's the thing.
So, do you think that was overkill or not?
Well, you know, that company that came here from Fort Dodge and looked at it, I showed them the same floor plan. And I showed them Ed Feld's proposal, not the numbers, but just what he was proposing to put in here. And he said, really, that doesn't look like it's anything more than what I would recommend.
Is that right?
Yeah. So you know, a lot of those things, they'll do they'll do several things. The horns and the strobes and the contacts and the sheriff's communication. So
The things that my first reaction was, you know, some of the unused spots that really, I mean, I guess you have electricity in all points, but there are spaces that aren't even used, you know, and then, so you have the risk of the electricity in the room, but you're not using machines or anything that's plugged in, and so I guess that was what I was thinking first. That was my first reaction. Maybe some of the smaller rooms that aren't used, that are only storage only, that may not be covered. And maybe those are not significant. Maybe there are not enough of those that really made any difference. I don't know.
But it was a huge undertaking, I know, I can remember right. Was it about $14,000 a floor or something like that?
Yeah, it ended up, wasn't it about 30 for the whole deal?
Do we have anything else?
You want me to call him and ask him to do it?
Sure.
Sounds good.
I'll move to adjourn.
Second.
We are adjourned.